Alex, let's get a squad update first of all after the international break. Any reported injuries from the players who are away with their countries?
No, we've made sort of good progress on some fronts. Gary Hooper's back in training now. Mulumbu's back in training, and Grabban should be fit as well, hopefully, for the game at the weekend. So we've made some good progress with some injured lads.
I know Wes Ulan featured in both games for Ireland, but he did miss a couple of training sessions as well. Is there an update on Wes?
Yeah, he's okay. I think it's just a case of monitoring sort of the load that Wes does over the course of the week, and the fact that he's played so many games recently as well. So, but he's joined in training, he's fine.
Mulumbu, obviously it's been frustrating for him signing for the club in the summer and getting injured in the last pre-season game. When can he hope to play?
We'll just have to monitor that really. I think it'll be important that he gets potentially an under-21s game under his belt before we reintroduce him to sort of first team action. But he's trained pretty much 3-4 days now. He's came through unscathed and he's getting his fitness levels back up to a high level, which, to be fair, because he's worked so hard over the course of his injury, he's starting for a good base.
Is there timelines for Gary Hooper, Lewis Grabban?
Gary's joined in training. He just lacks probably more games, and Lewis falls into the same bracket. So, but yeah, they'll both probably come into contention for the weekend.
Have you had as much time with the squad as you'd have wanted this week? Does it help with the game being on a Sunday? Does that give you an extra day?
Yeah, it gives an extra day. So obviously a Sunday's better than a Saturday for us because it allows me to get all the internationals back in. It's not ideal because obviously a lot of the lads have been away for a lot of the time, but it is what it is. Other teams will have to deal with it as well. So we'll be as best prepared as we can be.
8 games played in the Premier League, this next chunk of games. Do you think the league will have settled down after this chunk of games, or do you think it's sort of settled down a bit now already?
No, I think it's such fine margins that you win or lose games at this level on. I think there's been a couple of games so far this season where I felt we've deserved to win and we haven't. And that sort of 4 or 5 points could potentially put you in a very different scenario. So yeah, it's just about making sure that we try and sort of get as many points on the board as early as we can. And I think in particular these next 2 games are going to be big games for us.
Before the last international break you lost to Southampton but then reacted well by beating Bournemouth. What's the key to seeing a similar reaction this time around?
I don't think the other games are going to have any bearing on the next game. Whether we've played well or whether we've not played well, I think the next game we need to take in isolation and make sure that we go about our business in the right way, and hopefully we put a real good performance in. And I think out of probably the 10 games that we've played so far, we've probably played really well in 8, and I think that's a great ratio for us, and we'll be looking to improve in that as well, so hopefully we can put another one in coming Sunday.
Sunday's game, Newcastle haven't won yet, of course. How does that affect the dynamic of the game?
I think it probably applies more pressure to them more than anything else. Obviously, having not won, certainly being at home as well, there'll be a lot of pressure on them for their fans to go and win the game. But we're desperate to win the game as well, so we need to make sure that we approach it properly. And if we can do as well as we can, then we've got a good chance.